Well, good morning, Gopher fans, and welcome back to another post-game reaction episode of Sky U Pod, your Golden Gopher football podcast for the College Huddle. We are breaking down the Gophers' loss, the 35-38 loss to the Northwestern Wildcats, handing Northwestern a bowl bid this season and handing them their first victory at Wrigley Field. Joining me today is Max. Max, again, like we were talking about before the episode's kind of a somber day. I'd ask how you're doing this morning, but I'm sure that the feeling is mutual, not doing so well.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a tough one. Like we said, we hoped maybe we start to believe in momentum because that second quarter, it seemed like we had it and seemed like we figured it out. But Northwestern kept scratching and clawing, and we really didn't have an answer for them. So it was a tough one. Really hoping we could have won that one decisively and had some confidence going into the Wisconsin game because they've looked pretty good of late. If you're not looking at the scores, they just beat up on a pretty solid Illinois team. So yeah, tough one to lose. Tough way to lose. I feel like this season has really kind of slipped away a little bit, but we got one more. I thought Drake looked good. I thought Coy Parrish had an outstanding game. I think we've been waiting for his kind of superstar game that we know he can have defensively and in special teams. But man, this team just cannot put it all together, and it is frustrating.
Yeah, I don't even really know where to start to discuss. Let's start on the high note, Max. Let's just say what we did well, and I think to start, we'll just talk about how about Drake Lindsay. He was frankly just going off. I know Northwestern isn't the greatest Big Ten team, but nevertheless, when you're going 20 for 30 in your passes, 264 yards in the Big Ten, and having 4 touchdowns, that's pretty impressive for the redshirt freshman. So you got to hand it to him. He had a tremendous game. Obviously, Javon Tracy, we know what he did. He only had 4 catches, but 3 of those catches were touchdowns, and that was pretty awesome to see. He was a big threat, and seeing him, do well was pretty awesome. And other than that, decent, I thought, was the offensive line, which we've had questions about, the entire year. I thought that they did what they should do. Nothing like tremendously elite, if you will, but I thought it was good enough to get by. And then if there's anything else, let's think special teams. Coy had some good returns. Obviously, he had the long, was a 93 kickoff return. That was kind of the spark that we certainly needed at the beginning of the game. But that's all I really have to say about special teams. Obviously, we'll get into special teams later. But that's pretty much what I think was good. And yeah, I'm not being sarcastic. I really think that obviously Lindsay had a great game. Javon Tracy and offensive line did decent.
Yeah, no, the offensive line did open up some holes for Taylor and Boy when he got to play. That's maybe another concern too. Is Taylor back to being not 100%? Because we saw he did rip off that one decently long run, but it looked like he had nothing to get to that second gear. Like he just he couldn't accelerate. So definitely a concern
He's
there
still
as well.
hurt or something.
Yeah, it seemed like he might have tweaked something or something's not right. And the way he came to the sideline too, all the coaches kind of came around and looked at him like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what was
What
that?
happened?
And he kind of, he's being smart, not giving it away or not, saying exactly like, oh, my hamstring hurt. Like the guys aren't going to do that, but like you can see how the coaches kind of lean in and look, and every single one of them just did that. Like, damn it! Like they all knew exactly what was going on. He tried to stay stoic on the sideline and not give anything away, but yeah, it's pretty clear that he's not 100% either, which sucks because the kid is Like he's battled throughout some injury laced seasons, and this is a yet another one where when he's healthy, he looks really good. And again, he caught
Right.
37 yards, only 10 carries, but 43 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, his longest at
Hmm.
27 yarder that he came up a little bit lame on, but yeah. Um, One note too, and I guess too, Kurt couldn't make it this morning. He might join a little bit later. He's getting some work done in his house, but he did send in um, some notes, and I think he had a note too on the offensive line. I think just that everyone, I think a lot of people were commenting on the offensive line play as it maybe wasn't that great, but like you said, Spencer, I think it was a fine game. I don't think they did anything, you know, horrendous like
Yeah.
some games we've seen. And Northwestern up front is pretty solid. Like that's not a bad defensive line, and that's a pretty good linebacking core as well. So you expect them to make some plays. Pass protection I thought was pretty solid too. I can think of maybe one sack that Lindsey took that he maybe held the ball too long, but yeah, overall, I think the offensive line play was fair at best.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and
Yeah.
just talk about
Kurt is
the
listening. Yeah,
rest of
should
the
have been
game.
housed.
Yeah, totally should have been house. Yeah, Darius is just this season for him has just been a little shaky. Um, Injuries and out of the line, obviously, this year in general hasn't been great. But as we saw yesterday, they look better. I think Darius is just not 100%. Um, all right, Max, let's just talk about the rest of the game, the downs. Because really, and we don't mean to be like negative, but we are on this is the 11th game of the season. You are on the road, but it's against a Northwestern team that isn't tremendous. And there is just some glaring issues, you know, that we've seen. And I'll just start with the first quarter. Textbook kind of first quarter, if you will, for the Gophers, right? Offense couldn't do anything, slow start, and then the defense gives up two scores. Only thing that kind of gave you life again was that Coy kick return that set us up, and then finally, I thought that we saw like a pretty good play that we had Darius run in for the touchdown. Right, it was sort of that um, counter kind of pitch to him. I thought that was a well drawn up play. I think one of the probably a better higher note for Greg Harbaugh's offense, but other than that, I'm not so sure. The Yeah, I don't know, Max, and I think that the first quarter was just indicative, at least for the defense, of what was to come for the rest of the game. Um, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, defensively, it was pretty apparent that their wide receiver is going to be wide open most of the game. I mean, they have a solid quarterback in Preston Stone. He's an experienced guy. He's a decently accurate passer. They have a pretty good offensive line, and they've got a good running back. And I think we did maybe try to key in on him a lot. I think we slowed him down a little bit early. He did rub off a few big runs, but it's you could tell that the game plan was to try to shut down the run.
Yeah,
But that Griffin Wilde, number 17, the wide receiver, like that kid's a stud. I mean, he's a really good wide
yeah,
receiver, and he showed it. But it makes it that much easier when he and the receiver playing across from him are just wide open. Like they're getting so
why?
much separation, play after play. There's no adjustment made. There's no change in coverage. The D backs played not great at all. And it was just another game where their top guys just get free in space. We can't cover them. We don't adjust. We don't change anything about it. We just hope our pass rush gets home and hope for the best. And yeah, it's happened in games we've won. We've talked all about, you know, Purdue, Michigan State, Rutgers, like all these games, like this has been happening. It's been the same problem over and over and over again. And I think PJ and Danny Collins have talked about like they don't want to be reactionary. They're not going to be they're essentially trying to say, I think, that they're being process driven and not results oriented, which is fine, but something's off, something's wrong. Like your process is leading you to games where you're playing much closer football than you should with offenses that are not very good, and you're giving up huge yardage and huge scores to their best players. It's like uncontested. So why we don't change that, why we don't react to that, I have no idea. But it's something's got to change. Like it's something's got to get figured out. And I know we have a lot of young guys playing on defense, but a lot of those young guys have played most of the year, so there's really no excuse for inexperience. I know we had some injuries coming into the game, like John Nestor didn't play. I don't know how much of that really impacted this one, to be honest. Devin Williams probably hurt us more just in the run
Right.
defense, but other than that, I mean, I can think of one corner who maybe had his first big start, and other than that, it's been the same thing from the same guys all year long.
Right. Yeah, let's just go ahead and I guess talk about this defense. Let's just kind of lay down the foundation here, Max, just so everybody that's listening knows. Uh, yeah, Sky U Pod. I think that's probably Curdy here. I would throw for 150 and 3 TDs on this defense. That is 30-year-old Curtis Felton chiming in saying that, and he's probably right because Northwestern, Max, came into this game ranked 52nd in the country in rushing offense, 116th in passing offense, and 108th in scoring offense. So they average about 170 rushing yards per game, 170 passing yards per game, and we'll say 22 points per game. Yesterday, Max, they surpassed all of those averages. All of them. They rushed for 220 yards. They passed for 305 yards, and they put up 38 points. I'm going to start up front, Max. So Preston Stone, like you said, he's a seasoned quarterback. He's good. I mean, but it's just, I guess Northwestern isn't suited to like put up big numbers, right? And it's not necessarily his fault. It's just Northwestern. They're kind of still developing under their head coach, the Winona State alum that you all are familiar with. But they're a scrappy, solid football team, nevertheless, right? Stone, well, I'm going to start up front. Stone didn't see pressure at all yesterday. There were so many times that he sat in that pocket for so long where they just gave him all the time in the world. And I just thought that was pretty, I guess, pathetic. You know, obviously it doesn't help with how soft our zone coverage is in the backfield. And you know, we just allowed 0 sacks, really no pressure. There were no turnovers other than, the muff punt that we saw. But, the really sad thing I thought, Max, one punt that we allowed Northwestern only punted once. The rest were scoring drives. That is unacceptable. One punt the whole game.
Right.
The Northwestern Wildcats. That is just, you can't have that. You cannot have that. Not with this team. We're not playing against the Ducks. We're not playing against Ohio State. We're not playing against some blue blood team that is just out there to get you. This is Northwestern. And 100% giving them respect. They're a solid, scrappy team. I'm not trying to, to degrade what they were able to do yesterday.
Right.
But you can't only force one punt in the duration of a football game. Really, to any football team, that is unacceptable.
Definitely. Yeah. No, and especially when like we kind of got lucky too in a way. Not, I mean, the Koi Parrot's huge return, like that set us up for a touchdown. The muff punt we turned into a touchdown. Like they kind of gave us some big opportunities too. At the end of the game, Koi's 44-yard return to start us off in midfield, like they they played a good game, but they uncharacteristically played a little bit sloppy too. I mean, they had 8 penalties in the first quarter or the first half. I mean, they're like one of
Right.
the better teams when it comes to penalties, and they were kind of they were giving us some slack. Like
Yep.
that's the thing that drives me the crazy about this game is that it wasn't like your prototypical Northwestern game where they just out physical you, out discipline you, and we made all the mistakes. Like they made a lot of mistakes too,
Oh yeah.
and we just had no answer for what they threw at us. And yeah, and Kurt makes a good point here too, just going back to like their pass game, and he's right. They didn't throw deep balls where their guys were just running past us. It wasn't like they just out athleted us. It was comebacks, it was outs, it was little crossers. Like you just sit in a zone. It's going to be open because our guys don't know how to drop. The drops make no the zone drops make no sense, and I don't want to like I could
No sense.
ramble on forever on this, but if you just watch any play where we play zone defense, guys are just dropping into zones where no one would ever be, and I don't know if that's what they're coached to do. I don't know if they don't know where to go. I don't know what's going on, but
It's
it just does
terrible.
not look right. And then when they are in a zone and there's a receiver, we've talked about this over and over and over. Receiver will just sit down within 3 yards of a defender and not have to move because there's no feel for like where the receivers are. And
It's
it's so aggravating because it's the same problem over and over. And again, it's Northwestern. Like it's not Ohio State. Like you said, it's not Oregon. It's guys we should be able to compete against, and we shouldn't have to worry about their athletes, getting away from us. But it happened.
uh,
Yeah.
let's just talk about again. I think I don't want to call it an elephant in the room, but we just got to talk about it. To me, Danny Collins is Rob Smith 2.0. He just is. He's Rob Smith 2.0. I get it. It's his first year. It's growing pains, but it's just it's just not good. We've allowed opposing offenses, particularly ones that aren't so great, to just play their best probably game of their season. Um, we've allowed Northwestern again hitting season highs. I thought yesterday was like the pinnacle of this season. It was an all-time low. If you're averaging 19 points per game against Big Ten opponents, and we go down there and we give up 38 and they rack up 100 or 525 yards of total offense, there is a problem in this process. And we keep hearing it from PJ and some of the coaches about how we're inserting young guys, there's injuries, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that. This is not a talent issue. Anthony Smith, Coy, Kerry Brown, Devin Eastern, even though Eastern wasn't playing, Maverick Baranowski, and others, all talented players. I think all of us can agree with that. Veteran players, talented players. There's no one denying that. And for some reason, it seems like each of them are, I don't want to say regressing. They're not getting any better. They all look lost. Like, too many times do I see Coy the back of his jersey chasing, right? And that's not necessarily his fault, but like you said, Max, no one is in position of, like, if they're in zones, they're in pockets of the field where there aren't any receivers. And, is this a talent issue? I don't think so. I think it's a coaching issue. There is some sort of miscommunication or confusion or something out there. I don't know what it is, but it's
Yeah.
frustrating to watch, and I don't know. There's just to me, there's way too much talent on this defense to be playing this bad. Um, they're not in position to make good plays, and I think that like to the point where you're asking, I wonder what's going on. I put that blame right on the defensive coordinators and the coaches. That's just where the blame I think has to go.
Right. Yeah, it's got to start somewhere. And I think it was Tony Liebert that tweeted it out during the game that according to like the 247 composite ratings when it comes to recruiting, like this is one of PJ's most talented teams. So yeah, you can miss on guys. That happens. They're high school kids. You're not going to know exactly what they're going to turn into, but like you can't develop them. You can't make them a little bit better. You know, we're talking about guys that have made the same mistake over and over and over again since day one this season. And like even you look at from last year when we had Corey Heatherman, which feels like years ago when you watch this
Right.
defense play. Like think about that. The front is outside of a Danny Strigow, pretty much the exact same. We don't have a Maverick Baranowski, or I'm sorry, we don't have a Cody Lindenberg, but I think Maverick's played pretty well this year. Devin's been pretty well improved. So linebackers, I can't say we've had a huge drop off in talent. At Kingsbury's looking physical and fast. Safeties room is the exact same outside of some injuries this year. And we knew cornerback was going to be a problem. So you have one position group that you come into the season going, okay, this is probably going to be our weakness. How do we scheme around it? How do we make it better? What do we do? Who do we need to get in the portal? Like, and it just, nothing happened. We're just like, well, these are our guys. I think we got one transfer from the FCS level. We haven't really seen much. I wish we'd give him a shot just to see what we got in the kid that Bowden. But other than that, I mean, the defense overall, it feels like we've had a huge drop off in players just based on the performance, but we really haven't. And I don't know what the deal is. I think you like you said, Spence. I think the answer is maybe somewhere in the coaching room. But man, that's tough because like Danny Collins is one of PJ's guys. He's been around forever. He did a great job. Look at all the safeties he developed when he was the safeties coach. Like you got to give him credit for that. I mean, he knows what he's. That's I think the thing that is most glaringly confusing of like Danny Collins has been the pass game coordinator on the defensive side for years now. So why all
Right.
of a sudden when he's the one calling the defense is our biggest weakness now the pass defense? Like I don't understand how that happens. And I don't know if we've ever had a Kurt read my mind. I was gonna say, I don't know if we've ever had like a not necessarily like a firing. Like I like to keep him around as like a positional coach, but can we just demote him back down to pass game coordinator and safeties coach and have someone else call the defense or run the defense? Because yeah, structurally it just doesn't look right with most of the same pieces.
Yeah, I back to the zone stuff, Max. Like to me, it's really confusing. I feel like the Gophers probably have Northwestern has some good dudes. We saw that in their receivers. We were making them look like Ohio State caliber receivers.
Yeah.
Um, but I was a little lost as to why aren't we just gonna like let's man up and just make
Right.
them beat you. Just make them beat you. And if they do, all right, they beat you fair and square. But I felt like we were just handing them too many easy catch and throws. It was like practice. You know, Kurt chimed in. It was just kind of 10, 15 yards outs, hitches, you know, they just sit kind of in pockets of the zone where there is nobody. And it was just easy all day money. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, if that's going on for the first half, how at halftime aren't you like, all right, let's just adjust, let's just man up, and let's just make them beat us, and see what happens. And then I can like maybe go like, all right, we were not as talented as Northwestern. If they're like, all right, they're totally beating us as receivers against our DBs, fine. That didn't happen. That it was just
Right.
pure zone. There were no adjustments whatsoever. They're scoring on every single drive, and it seems like the defense was doing the same thing. I don't understand how you don't have an answer for that. Like, to
Right.
try something else. It was the same thing over and over again. And I think that falls squarely on the hands of Danny Collins, but also, PJ. I just feel like, how don't you step in and say, all right, that we can't be doing this anymore. We have to change it up. Um,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just,
And PJ's made a ton of excuses this year. He's blamed it on injuries. He's blamed it on youth. He's blamed it on he's tried to say other teams are really good when they're just okay. Like I know it's coach speak. I know he's got to protect his guys, but like come on. like we see
yeah,
it. We all see it. It doesn't take a genius to look down. I mean, look at the last 3 games. I know we played Oregon in there, but Michigan State played their backup quarterback. He was 20 of 28 for 300 yards. Dante Moore set an Oregon record in completion percentage, going 27 for 30 for 300 yards. Preston Stone of Northwestern, who I think, like we talked about before the game, I think he only threw for over 200 yards like twice against not good teams. I don't think they were against like power conference teams. 25 of 30, 300 yards. Like, what are we doing? It's not just the yards, it's not just the scoring. We can't even force them to not complete a pass. Like that's the thing. It's not like they're making all these contested catches or they've got burners just running past our guys or we're not fast
right.
enough. Like they're just wide open. Their division they get paid too now. They're gonna hit the
Yeah,
open passes, believe it or not. And yeah, if you don't have an answer for it, like you said, it's crazy. Like
it is crazy.
it's really crazy when you look at this and you think, okay, Northwestern, they've got a dude in Wildy. Can we take him away? Can we bracket him? Can we put our best guy on him? Force make them prove that they can score in other ways. And we just said, nah. We'll just keep doing what we're doing. Let's hope they make a mistake. Let's hope they muff a punt and
Right.
go from there. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I am sick of hearing like the talent issue, the young issue. Like this team, anyone that watches Gopher football, listen, heed these words. This team is talented. They have a
It
lot
is.
of great players. There is nothing wrong with this team. And I don't like that. It seems like PJ almost throws the players under the bus. Like, wow, you guys really got to get better. We have all the answers for you guys, but man, you guys have to just got to play there. You got to accelerate through the middle. You got to do all this stuff. You got to improve. I just don't like that. I mean, what are you doing to make sure that these players are getting better? And I just don't. The talent is there. I just don't see the coaching there. I have to say it. Something needs to change.
Right.
Um, that's all I got to say about the defense. Really, it's
Yeah,
terrible. It's really
it
terrible.
is. Yeah, outside of the Nebraska game, like we've made every team look like that was their best game,
Yeah,
and sometimes that happens. Sometimes the team's hot. Sometimes they have the right game plan. I don't know that happens every game. You know what I mean?
hmm,
At some point, it's you. If you look around the room and you can't spot the sucker, maybe it's you, right? Like,
yeah,
and this one just happened to be a loss. Like, we've hit the game-winning field goal, we've hit the late comeback win, and it's worked. This
yep.
time, we didn't. We literally didn't hit the field goals to make it happen. So it kind of feels like this
Shame.
season is, we're at 6 wins. We could easily just have 3 or 4 by the way we
Right. I
play.
mean, honestly, let's say Nebraska, that was a bad game. I don't think we're better than Nebraska at this point. I don't know if we're better than
No.
Nebraska. Michigan State, they should have beaten us. Rutgers, if it wasn't for a fumble between the legs of Ethan Kaliakmanis, I don't think we win that game. Um, And granted, I don't want to take anything away from the players and the team. They got the job done, and you got to give them that. But it's literally like a play or two that was the difference of winning some of those games. And
Right.
I don't know if we, besides Nebraska, I don't know if there was a game, at least in the Big Ten, that was like you dominated and you won that game. You look like the better team easily. Yeah,
Yeah, they're just not doing enough to pull away from games or like play with the lead either.
yeah,
Like we don't have that ability to hit another gear or step on a team's throat. Like
yeah,
it feels like we're just out there playing and we have no feel for like the situation or
right.
like what we could do. It's just like, well, let's just hope they mess up.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
And I felt like to that point, Max, I felt, after the muff punt, you score on the, one play, the pass to Tracy right after the fumble, one play, 28-yard touchdown. You go up 28-13. I was like, all right, I thought that there was life. I'm like, okay, this is what it should look like. You started off slow, 28-13. We're in the driver's seat right now. But I thought at that point, that's when it really started to go down. And it wasn't these knockout plays, Max. It was the ensuing drive by Northwestern. 9 plays, 79 yards. Took 5.5 minutes off the clock. We come back, we miss a field goal. They go 7 plays for 70 yards for 4 minutes. They're taking our script right out of our book. You know what I mean? Their
Yeah.
time of possession was crazy. And then at the end of the game, unfortunately, 14 plays, 59 yards, 7 minutes and 27 seconds, a half of a quarter. They just milk out that clock, and that won them the game effectively. They just won the game. I mean, just
Yeah.
milked that clock, and that is totally a defensive problem. I mean, you look at the offense, we're scoring within, a few minutes. I mean, and that's great. Northwestern's defense, scrappy, but not incredible. And Kurt mentioned this too. I don't have his message right in front of us, but I do think that, Harbaugh, some of those scores were kind of gifted to him, thanks to Coy and yada, yada. He did fine. We don't really want to hear people saying, see, he's the answer to this offense. I mean, no, you're going up against Northwestern, who was 0-7 at Wrigley Field. We should be able to do something. But anyways, I digress. Again, it's just the defense that kept you out of this game.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have kept him at arm's length. I mean, we're up 15. Obviously, the missed field goal at the end of the third quarter doesn't help, but like you hope it doesn't come back to that, and it did. And then also that's the thing too. Like we still had a shot at the end to come down and at least tie it. And I mean, we were lucky to even have a shot to tie it.
Right.
Like, why are we not spiking that football, Spencer? What?
Max, I'm not kidding. I was going to call for the coaching staff. I was going to say, don't let them on the plane back to the Twin Cities. Leave them in Chicago, because that was terrible. The management there, and I saw on how they reviewed it, and they have like the actual like clock. And there was 3 seconds on. So from a TV standpoint, it was a little closer. I still probably would have spiked that ball just to be safe. I guess. But like that was cutting it way too close. Kurt chimes in here. The decision to attempt that 47-yard field goal was awful. That's kind of what I wanted to get into here too, Max. Denneberg. I don't want to degrade him too much, but I gotta tell you, PJ, you went into the portal to get this kid. You went into the portal to get Denneberg, who was at Syracuse, and he was his kicking, privileges were taken away from him, right? Because he missed. I had it up here somewhere. Um, let's see. He missed several. So he missed 4 games into the Syracuse season 2024. He missed 3 of his first 6 field goal attempts, and it was missing some extra points as well. Kurt chimes in. He was kicking 50% in a dome. Denenberg, I don't want to harp on this kid too much, Max, but was there any I got to tell you, that last 47-yard attempt, there was no doubt in my mind he was going to miss that field goal. I looked at my wife and I was like, he's going to miss it. But not only is he going to miss it, he's going to miss it bad. He's just going to totally miss it. There was just, and if you're PJ, you're telling me that, Denenberg's got this. Denenberg's got this. He's got this 47-yard field goal. Any Gopher fan watching had to know, like, this ain't going in. And I feel bad. I don't mean to bash the guy. Nice kid. I had zero confidence. And I think it's the coaching. They put him in this position at the end of the game. We know that he might be a little wishy-washy. But, terrible.
Yeah, to go back to the first field goal, coming into the game, he was 2 of 5 from 40 plus. So we know he's not he's just not hitting them. He's hitting them from under 40. I think he's almost 1 from under 40. So it's like, that's good. But if you know going into it, okay, 40 yards and out's a problem. So we can't be comfortable with a field goal from that yardage. Why are we playing for it then? I mean, if you look at it, we're at the Northwestern 35, 1st and 10. We get a 5-yard rush from Ijiboy. Back-to-back incomplete passes, which in my mind, if you know where you're at on the field and it's going to be a 48-yard field goal, maybe try to run it one more time, make it 4-yard on territory, like at least attempt to get a little bit closer. I don't remember off the top of my head like what those incompletions looked like, but it kind of felt like we were comfortable just, if we get a first down, great. If not, we can extend the lead a little bit here. But that strategy makes no sense when you know he's 2 of 5 from 40 plus. And then he finishes the game 2 of 7 from 40 plus. Like, it's unfortunate. And it's just another, I don't know. Like, it's like we don't realize what we're not good at. And we just lean into it.
Exactly. And that's a coaching issue again. Like, you're not good at that. Now, I know what some fans are probably saying. We should address this. That last drive, the obvious pass interference on Gears that was totally missed. That's not the reason why we lost the game. Like, that'll give you 5 yards. Like, I think 5 yards and an automatic first down, probably 10, we'll call it 10 yards, automatic first down. Like, that isn't the reason you lost. Does Denenberg hit the field goal anyway? Probably not. I think that's just the reality of it is. And it doesn't, make up for the fact of what happened the whole game up until that point. Sure, I thought that the officials were a little flag friendly during the game. I mean, there's a lot of false starts and just kind of bad football, but they were a little flag friendly until the end of the game where there was that obvious pass interference. But that's not the reason why you lost the game. That's not why the defense gives up 500 plus yards against the Northwestern team. But yes, I acknowledge that was part of the final drive. Kurt chimes in, should have gone for it even on 4th and 5. I don't blame him. I mean, I get it. It's unfortunate of what happened in that last drive. And we couldn't have really, Max, we couldn't have asked for a better situation, right? Under a minute left, no timeouts. Coy gets you almost to the 50-yard line. I mean, it's a perfect setup for, hopefully making something happen, and we come up short.
Yeah, started from midfield. You get the big 30-yard pass play to Javon Tracy, who's been hot all game. You're thinking, all right, we're gonna do it again. we're
And
gonna
go to
we're gonna
overtime,
have one of
and
these crazy games, and we're gonna pull it out because that's just what we've done all year. And then, yeah, and to go back even before the decision to not spike the football, like no timeouts. Why are we even catching passes short of the sticks in bounds at all? And I don't even know who exactly
right.
that's on. I mean, that's still Drake's decision at the end of the game, but like that was playing with fire to even do that. And then yeah, it was just all around. We just
Yeah,
didn't look like we really had a plan for that situation. It was
yeah.
insane. Um,
It was a bad 2 minute. Well, okay. I don't want to say. So you're gifted back to Harbaugh. You're gifted kind of a short yardage situation. You're at, I think, the 44, your own 44. You get a nice bomb dropped in to Javon Tracy, who's been going off all game. But like, and this might be Lindsey's fault, but I forget who he threw it to. If it was Lemecki or if it was I don't know if it was Javon or if it was Smith, or it was an out, but it was like a middle, or I don't know if it was a middle of the field out or if it was a slant in the middle. You throw it to him, he's running for the sidelines, but he's like at midfield when he catches it, or by the hash, and he just wasn't even close to getting out of bounds to stop the clock. And so you rush to the line, don't spike it. you just you throw it, and it could have been game over, but it wasn't. And then you missed the field goal. I just think the clock management, the play calling there probably wasn't the best. And again, you're gifted a nice return from Coy. Tracy, thank goodness, came down with that catch. But other than that, like, it wasn't really and you're not given a lot of time anyway, but it wasn't really a well drawn out sort of under
right.
1 minute sort of attack. Not to score a touchdown. You don't even need a touchdown, just to get your kicker in position to score kick the field goal through the uprights, right? It wasn't really designed to help do that, I thought, at all.
Right. Yeah, we made it look way harder than it was. And again, yeah, it's a situation where not a lot of time left, no timeouts. Like you don't really, the odds are not in your favor, but we still somehow make it even harder than it has to be. And that's kind of just been the story all year long. It feels like offensively, it's
Right.
it's like we're climbing uphill by design for whatever reason, and
Right.
I don't understand it.
Yeah. 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 I'm looking at it now. So after the long one, after the Tracy catch, the throw to Bieber, right? The pass interference, that was, you're at the Northwestern 26. Okay. Um, no PI, sucks, but is what it is. And then you have the 4-yard pass to Smith. And that was when the clock's running down. This is 14 seconds left, right? I'm thinking, okay, so here it's 2nd and 10. Let's go ahead and spike the ball. Not run, try and design something there. Design something. You got 14 seconds. Let's get up there. Okay, maybe you spike it with, let's call it 7 seconds, right? All right. 7 seconds. Let's see if we can get something right at, out of bounds to stop the clock or something. If you don't, all right, we'll just attempt the field goal regardless. But you rush to the line, and you just kind of quickly shot out a play from the sidelines there. And that obviously didn't work, and we almost lost the game through time. But regardless, at the end of the day, Denenberg misses the field goal from 40 yards, and we lose.
Right. And they would have been third down that they were spiking on anyways. So it's not even like you would have had a shot, but like,
Right.
I don't
Oh,
know if that was
right,
the
right.
thought of like,
Yeah,
well, we can't spike because we have to take a shot, but like you're really running the risk of not getting this kickoff unless they're
right.
kind of telling you what maybe they're saying it out loud of like, we don't want to try to kick this field goal right now,
Yeah, right.
which is tough. But yeah.
Also, maybe that was the time. Maybe you spike it and you get your field goal kicker the chance to run his Remember, he was an athletic kicker, right? Remember PJ
Well,
saying that? Maybe you
that's
you
the one
run
that
a
doesn't even
fake.
play. That's
Yeah,
the
right.
freshman.
Yeah, right, right. That's true.
But we could run him out there.
Yeah, just say, all right, get out there and run a fake. Anything to try and, I don't know, do something. But regardless, that's all I got on defense, special teams. Again, offense, fine. They did fine. Yeah, I thought it was what we needed.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I don't want to like take away from what Drake Lindsay did or what Javon Tracy did or even the offensive line. They looked all right, but I don't want to like. I'm not going to sit here and say Harbaugh is a genius. Like it wasn't really like something like that. It was just I thought a game that you did exactly what you are expected to do against a Northwestern team like this.
Right.
So I'm pleased with what they did.
Yeah. No, it was a fine outside of the first quarter, which again, if you look at the whole thing, I mean, the offense only played 3 quarters basically. We had 3 plays in the first quarter. We went 3 and out. Northwestern controlled the ball pretty much the entire time. Maybe got it at the very end of the first quarter to start off that our first touchdown drive, but like that too, it's again somehow Ohio State was our only game we've scored on the opening drive or our first possession of a game. But
Yeah.
again, we are 10 of 11 on not scoring or not having really any productivity. Uh, I guess I can't say out of 11 because the Northwestern State game really doesn't count. So 9 out of 10 games that
Yeah.
that you had against real opponents where you couldn't do anything, and that's your opening script. Can't have it.
you
Yeah.
know, and it's just to sum it up and kind of summing up the season, Max. 0-5 on the road. First time since 2011. You're 0-5 on the road. That's tough. That's really tough, Max. Yeah, sure. Like 2 of your games are on the road against Oregon and then Ohio State. You're not expected to win those games. Like I get it. You're on the road at Northwestern. You're on the road at Iowa, I don't even want to get started with Iowa. And then who was our other game that we're on
The
the road
Cal
at?
game.
The Cal game. I mean, that's not acceptable. 0-5 on the road is not acceptable. Kurt says it like we just cannot get this team off of the bus. We just can't. And all of those games on the road backs, besides this one, were terrible. I mean, you think about Cal played terrible.
Yeah.
Iowa terrible. Ohio State and Oregon, I get it. Their blue blood teams are great, but still, I thought we played pretty terrible. And this Northwestern game, you come out flat, and I think that's a huge reason of why you probably lose this game. And the defense played terrible. Again, one punt that we forced them to, we only let the punt once. Unacceptable.
Yeah. Not good. Not good when your best offensive game uh, on the road is against Northwestern, and it's still just okay. like,
Yeah.
like that's a problem.
Other than that, that's all I got. Anything else, Max?
I don't think so. It's unfortunate loss, but we got one more. We still got Axe Week. We'll be back probably
That's
Tuesday
right.
again to preview that one. We'll hopefully come back a little more positively minded. But man, it's been all year long.
It's hard.
Like we've said, it's been we got time to improve. We know what we have to improve on. We know what we have to get better on. Surely they won't keep doing this. Here
Yeah,
we are. So we'll see.
that's right. Yeah, we'll be breaking down. It's Hate Week coming up, and what a better way to start it off with this bad taste in your mouth, knowing you're going up against your eternal rivals, the longest rivalry in college football. Defending the Axe at home. I think, we mentioned this, Max, and we'll break this down on Tuesday, but, I think you just got to give it all you got. Throw everything you got against the Badgers, who have been, it seems like, improving. They're opposite. They've been improving this year. I'm definitely more worried at the beginning of the year. I thought this was a surefire victory. Can't say that I feel the same, but we'll get into that on Tuesday. And it usually does a Badger or a Gopher victory against the Badgers really does kind of lighten up the mood a little bit. But I think we'll have to address what this game is going to mean for this team, for this coaches, and everything. So we'll address that on Tuesday. But yeah, thank you to everyone tuning in to another post-game reaction to Sky U Pod. Please be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube, X, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. Please go ahead and check out our partners' website, thecollegehuddle.com, for more podcasts and articles about all things college football. We'll see you on Tuesday to break down the next game against the Wisconsin Badgers. But otherwise, go Gophers. Love you all. See you next time.